Welcome back to Crypto for Freedom, where we talk about all things cryptocurrency and gaining financial freedom and self-sovereignty through the cryptocurrency markets. Today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and the 4-year cycles, and a little bit later in the video we're also going to be looking at Dogecoin a little bit. Okay. Now, it's really important to study the 4-year cycles in cryptocurrency for Bitcoin, especially if you want to make substantial money in the market off of altcoins. Okay, so Bitcoin is the king. It leads the market. If Bitcoin's doing good, that's pretty much the only way the altcoins are going to be doing good. If Bitcoin's going down, then the altcoins are going to have more substantial losses. Now, the yellow lines on the chart here are the halvings. There's been 4 halvings so far. And the first one was in October of 2012. The second one was in July of 2016. The third one was May of 2020. The fourth one was April of 2024. And the fifth one is going to be sometime roughly February, March of 2028, give or take. It depends on the block size, really. So, but yeah, so I'm taking a look at the market cycles today. If you take a look at from the halving to the peak, that's roughly 518 days. This one was 549 days, and this one was 548 days. So roughly all in the same ballpark between each cycle from the halving to the peak of the market. Now, this first halving to the peak was a little bit shorter at 365 days, but you know, that could have just been a deviation since the market was so new. Little blow off top deviation there, that this could have actually been, you know, a good place to count the top at, because it started going down substantially from there. So yeah, today we're looking at Bitcoin and Dogecoin, the halving cycles, and how Bitcoin relates to the altcoin season. Okay, you can see I marked how many coins per block down here for each halving. So the first one was 25, then 12.5, cuts in half to 6.25, and then 3.125. You know, it's pretty interesting that from the halving in 2024, in April of 2024 to now, I mean, look at that. That's 518 days. So, like, I think we're very, very close to the peak for Bitcoin right now. And we haven't even really seen a full altcoin season, which makes me really suspicious that next month could be extremely explosive for the cryptocurrency markets. Now, especially because the Bitcoin dominance has already started dropping substantially. It already dropped, 12% from the peak. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin dominance couldn't go up and have its own blow off top a little bit higher over this trend line, but really the Bitcoin dominance is starting to compress between these two trend lines right here. Okay, so it can only go so far. Now, with institutional adoption happening in the crypto space with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now Dogecoin even has an ETF with, I'm sure, many more altcoin ETFs to come. It makes me wonder, since Bitcoin has an ETF now, are we going to see real altcoin seasons moving forward? Or is it going to just be a Bitcoin dominated market moving forward? I'm really curious to see what happens here moving forward with the rest of the cycle and moving into the next cycle, because things are different this time. I mean, we had a new all-time high by the halving, which has never happened in the past. I mean, if you look at, we had this white candle right here. We had it broke out to a new all-time high before the yellow line, which was the halving, which we've never done that in the past. Usually we're way below, the previous all-time high by the yellow line, which is the halving, Usually we're, if you go back to the last one, usually we're way below. But this time we had an all-time high after the halving. And, does that mean that's going to happen again on the next cycle? Does that mean we're going to, peak out somewhere here, have our bear market, and then come down and have an all-time high again before the halving? Or is it going to kind of go back to how it was in the past where we peaked out and then the price was way below the previous all-time high by the halving, and then we went up? So I'm kind of curious because, as you can see, we get to the halving and the price goes way up. We get to the halving, the price goes way up. We get to the halving and the price goes way up, you guys. So it's like, where's the price going way up this time from the halving? It's like going sideways. But to my previous point that, Bitcoin being way below the previous all-time high at the halving, well, if that was the case on this last halving, we would be down here and then we go straight up from there. So, there's a lot of evidence to say that the top could be in, you guys. That doesn't mean it is. I actually personally don't think it is. I actually think that we got a lot higher to go because yeah, we've just seen so many epic blow off tops in this market, and it just seems like the price is going to go a lot higher here with the logarithmic regression. The price not even being at the logarithmic regression line yet, and looking at Plan B's models, it just seems like the price is going to go way higher. My price target is personally about 180K for the cycle. But I think it could go anywhere from 180K to 250K. Now if the price went to 180K from here, that'd be another 60% gain or so. And if the price went to 180K from the bottom, that would be roughly a 10x. That'd be a great cycle. I mean, from the bottom of the last cycle, oops, I didn't measure that right. From the bottom of the last cycle, it was a 20x. And from the bottom of the 2017 market, it was a massive gain, but that was the early market back then. Not a lot of people, a lot of volatility. And we're probably not ever going to see gains like that again. But I do kind of wonder if the top is in. Now, I think next month we're going to see an explosive move for Bitcoin, and I think altcoin season is going to come shortly after. I think that Bitcoin dominance is going to drop a little bit more, and we are going to see an altcoin season. And the trend is your friend until the end, you guys. So until the trend is actually broken, I'm counting on the 4-year cycle, all right? And I'm just going to hold my conviction, keep dollar cost averaging into my positions, and, continue believing in my plays. And I'm here for the long term, you guys. If here's the halving in January of 2028, or February, March or whatever, 547 days from the peak is August of 2029. I got into crypto first back here in February of 2021. I was a newbie. I was buying in the FOMO pump just like everybody else, and I held all the way through that bull market, all the way to the bear market, and then I started buying my crypto, the rest of my crypto in this area. And my life has really changed between going from down here to up here. And even if I got to sit through another bear market, to get to this point, we're going to do it. We're going to be accumulating the whole time. And you know what, you guys, you can change your life with cryptocurrency. So like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.